So it's been a couple of hours since I last worked on this particular code. You may have just watched this straight afterwards, but I've had dinner and done the kitchen or done a few things anyway. So I'm now going to look at my code and think, well, there are a few things here that I'm already forgetting. I'm struggling to remember that this is right. I only remember it's right because it's D, and then I have to look at my keyboard to see where the D key is. So this 0 here is a problem for me. Also, want to be able to change the speed, but I have to change it in 4 places. That's never nice, and these might fragment over time, and these might get separated by lots. I don't really want to have to change it in 4 places. And I'm also looking at this friction number down here. Thankfully, I put a comment here because I might have forgotten what this 0.98 was. And I seem to remember that I wanted to change it at the end of the last video, but time got cut short to about 0.95. Sorry, even 0.94. So changing friction, all these numbers in here, and even this little number in here is really not helpful. What does 32 even mean? Now, if you remember from the last video, I know it's half of the width, but we shouldn't actually just have that in there because I'm not going to remember what that means later on. So we're going to do this by adding a whole section up above here. This is not going to change the function of our code. It's just going to make it easier to read and easier to maintain. And this is my declare variables section. Okay, so I'm going to declare some variables. First one I'm going to declare is up, and notice I'm doing it in capital letters. Up is equal to 0. And I'm going to do this systematically. Not up, sorry, my bad. Right. So right is equal to 0. Now I'm using capital letters because there might be an instance where the word right is a keyword for something else. So we need to be aware of that. I'm going to basically say that the next one is going to be up. So W is up. Up is equal to 90. And then the next one is going to be left is equal to 180. And whoops, close that off. Always remember that colon at the end. And then down is equal to 270. So those are the same numbers as down there. Now you'll notice that it's given me a little comment over here saying that this variable has only been used once. If you hold your mouse over, you might see the tooltip. This variable's only been used once and you're not really using it, so you shouldn't have it. That's all right because I'm going to use them now. This is going to be right. And once again, I'm doing them in all caps. And that just means that I can't use any variable that is used by the system. And I don't know what they all are because I'm new to this software. So I don't know what all the keywords are. So I'm just going to use capitals because I know that this system doesn't use all caps. And then I'm going to use down. So all those caps there, all those variables are done. Next one I'm looking at, the speed. I'm going to use a variable called boost. And this will be 5. And I'm going to put a comment after this, sets the top speed when the key is pressed. Okay, so that's just so I know what I'm doing there. And once again, it's got a little thing there. So let's just use boost, and we can use it multiple times. Boost there. Oops. Boost there. And boost there. And boost here. Next number down is this speed here. I'm going to call this min speed, for minimum speed. It makes more sense. Or actually, yeah, no, I'll just call it min speed. I was thinking about calling it something else. And it's 0.05. And this is the slowest the player can move before speed is set to 0. Yeah, I'm putting some comments in there just to help me understand what these are because it's not totally obvious straight up. So this is min speed. And then we've got this number here, friction. That's a friction applied there, and that's going to be equal to 0.9, what did I say it was? 4. And now that I've got friction, I can whack that in there. So friction, done. I can get rid of friction there. And this comment here, I'm going to command exit and take it out. It's going to go there. To be consistent, all my explanation are going to be on the main line there, not inside something or other. Okay, a 0 here. Why not just get rid of the 0 and put in 0? Now, why do I do this? Because I don't like seeing numbers in code. You don't have to be as extreme as me. I'm being a bit extreme here, but I don't want to see numbers in code. And this one here, I need to put a comment on what this does. Keeps the player on the screen. And that's going to keep the player on the screen. But this number here is a calculation. I can replace this with a calculation. And I can say that the sprite underscore width, which is 64, divided by 2. So which also means that if I do change the size of my sprite, I don't have to come back through here and do that. There's a number in there, divided by 2. Let's be really extreme. Let's get rid of that. Halve underscore it. That's what I'm doing there. Equals 2. So halve it. Oops. Slash that one there. Okay, and I'm going to halve it. That's what I'm doing every time I'm taking the sprite width and halving it. This one here and this one here are a bit extreme. I'm just sort of going with the whole idea of getting rid of any numbers in my code. My code is now a lot more readable. Somebody who doesn't know how to code might start looking at this and going, oh, yeah, they want it to move up. And they might see the W key and go, oh, it's obviously up when you go W. That makes sense because I've played some computer games before and that's what happens. So you can see there that the code is easier to read. It is also more maintainable. If I want my player to go that little bit slower, I just change it there rather than having to change it here and here and here and here. So let's just make sure that that still works as expected. Yada, yada, yada. And here it comes. So moving it. Yep, that player is frustratingly slow. And all good. Now another advantage of doing particularly this boost is, in theory, if I had part of the game where you earn some coins and you could pay for upgrades, you could pay a few coins to upgrade it to 5 and then a few more coins to upgrade it to 6. You've all played those types of games. You can see that there's an advantage in actually having it as a variable. So it gives me more power. It makes it easier for me to maintain by being able to change just in one spot. And it makes it easier to read if we have these variables written out like this. This is what I want you to concentrate on doing, making sure your code is easy to read.